You can support this podcast for $3 a month at patreon.com/copytradersclub, or find me on eToro, username Gavin Macaulay, and add me to a watch list for future content. Thanks for listening. Copy Traders Club, where you can learn how to make better decisions and more money copy trading. I'm Gavin Macaulay, my name and username on eToro. My aim as an eToro enthusiast is to demystify this new and uncharted world of copy trading, understand what are the pitfalls and best practices, and how ultimately to succeed as a copy trader. Here we go. Yes, Copy Traders Club, Series 3, Episode 17. And today we're checking in with none other than Christian Jain Kongsted, aka CPHequities. Hello, Christian. How are things in Denmark?
Hello, Gavin. Things are great here in Denmark. It's springtime. The markets are green, so I'm enjoying life. And I think it's going well.
Okay, I'm just pulling up your username there on eToro. You can see it on your screen.
Yeah.
In this new and exciting format that we have here. Your first appearance on Copy Traders Club was back in July 2022. We talked for over an hour about your investing style and history and your game playing excellence. I'll leave a link to that in the show notes. So this is more of a catch up. Just want to see what you've been up to since, how you're doing. Okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so before we get into randomly selected question numbers, 2023's stock market gains have largely reflected the technology of the day, namely AI. This will be a topic that we're going to explore on Copy Traders Club on the next roundtable episode, but it's a topic I know is of specific interest to you, Christian. So tell us what you've been doing of late in this area, and maybe you can start by telling us, does it justify being such a market-moving force?
I think it is justified. And, in some sense, you are seeing a bit of hype around it. So there's also some kind of bubble in some kind of the stocks, or a few of the stocks. So you would see some stocks rising like 100 and 200%, and now they're coming down again. So there's also a little bit hype around it. But for me, it's like I'm investing in a lot of the big tech companies, and I think they are quite solidly placed to be in good position to generate a lot of profits from the interest around AI, especially generative AI, which is the newest thing.
And have you been doing lots of research into the applications of it and things of late?
Yes, I'm doing a lot of research, and I think actually keeping up with what's going on is almost like a full-time job. There's so many applications that are developed all the time, and I think it's there's a lot of work to do to research this. I'm trying to see how it can change my work processes, and also studying how it can change other people's work process to understand also the impact it has on our society and on the culture, and of course also on investing. So all of these questions are, I would say, they're still quite new. I mean, we've known about GPT for some years, but now ChatGPT was launched in November last year. And since then, I think it has been incredible to see how many people have been using this tool in a very short amount of time, and see what it can be used for, and also how it can be a part of other companies' products. And it's quite interesting to see how this is developing. It's developing with lightning speed, I think.
Yeah, you say it's almost a full-time job keeping up with all the developments. You should probably use some sort of bot to help you break down that workload, some artificial intelligence to help you stay on top of artificial intelligence.
I agree, and I haven't found the bot yet, but I was actually looking for it just to find like the 3 biggest stories of the day for you to read. I think that would be a pretty good bot, but I'm sure this tool is out there. I just haven't stumbled upon it yet.
Okay, well, let's move on now to some of our randomly generated question numbers. And as we do so, I'll maybe click around little bits of your profile
Yeah, that's fine.
Where relevant. So our first number is 34. Some of these questions, Christian, are about investing. Some are about eToro. Some are silly little questions to get to know you more personally. It's always fun when we start off with some serious ones. Unfortunately, this one is, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream or dairy-free alternative?
Oh, I like mango actually. I like a lot of different ice cream, but strawberry or mango I would say is one of my favorites. My wife's family is from India, and around this time of year they bring fresh mangoes. That's even better than mango ice cream, I think. And the mangoes you get from India and Pakistan are just amazing. I imagine where you live that you would have good mangoes as well, but in Denmark we don't have
great mangoes. I do love a mango. I'm sure you have mango really frequently. The drink.
You what? Yeah, mango lassi. Yes, exactly. That's a normal part of the Indian dish.
Yeah, no, I love a mango, but I can only eat the inner flesh. You know, if I eat anything near the skin or anything near the stone, my lips react and swell up. That's a very common thing, I think, for people to react like that.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, fascinating. Next question. Number 19. What's stopping you having twice the copiers that you do?
I mean, if I had twice the copiers I had, then I would be clearly the largest popular investor on eToro. So that would take it would take like amazing returns. I think it's like this year. If you it's a lot about your 2 years returns are broadcasted, and if you have like 60-70%, then you can get a lot of copiers. So it's always about your still a little bit about your short-term performance, like 1 or 2 year. So you need to have very, very good short-term, like 1 year, 2 year performance to have many more copiers. That's the main thing. You can talk a lot about marketing and all that. That's important too. But the main thing to have is to have very high returns in percentage. But the problem with that is that if you want to go for that, you will also have to take a high risk. And I don't want to do that in my portfolio, especially not with over 15,000 people copying me.
Yes, as can be seen on the screen now, copier numbers 15.3 thousand. And perhaps a more eye-catching number is followers, 997.3 thousand.
Yeah, it would be nice to go for 1 million followers. I'm looking forward to that. I think we are slowly approaching, very slowly. It's going up.
That's quite the number. Huh?
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, next question. 31. How would you rate your performance over the last 6 months?
The last 6 months has been very good, I think. As you can see, this year is like 5 months, and I'm at 16.72, and that's around 7 percentage points better than the S&P. So this year I'm happy about the performance, and I think it would be difficult for me to do it much better because I've been in most of the stocks that have been driving the I mean, I don't want to call it a bull market, but the returns this year has been driven by, more or less 8 companies, which is some of the FANG companies and Nvidia, Tesla, and I think I have 6 out of 8 of those companies, and they are the biggest in my portfolio. So this year I've been positioned very well. So I'm really happy about the performance this year, of course.
That was
you can see the
good question to come up for you.
Yeah, that was a nice one.
Number 15. I should really revise these questions. If you could select one type of food you could eat for the rest of your life with no negative consequences, what would that food be?
It would be one of the Indian dishes like dhal makhni or saag, which are two of my favorite dishes, and I am eating it all the time. So, and I don't know if it has any consequences. It's not. It's quite healthy. So, but I just love it. For me, it's better than dessert. It's just fantastic.
Very good. Number 6. What's the biggest mistake you've made in the last 12 months?
Now we talked 10 months ago, I think, and since then, to be honest, things have been going pretty well for me. It has been a good 12 months, so I think it's like maybe I have to go back a little bit before, which was some of the positions we talked about last time. I had some unprofitable tech companies, and I perhaps scaled a little bit too late out of those positions. But this year, I think I have. I didn't make large mistakes over the large 12 months. I cannot really think of something that I would have done differently. So what I'm trying to do is to have still a good tech exposure, but diversifying my portfolio. And you could say that some of the diversification obviously is not going to perform as well as the tech positions like commodities, bonds, and stuff like that wouldn't perform as well as tech. But I still don't regret having those positions because they're kind of a hedge against a scenario that would be much worse than what we've been experiencing. So I think many people were surprised about how well things have been going this year, especially for the big tech companies. And I think it's important to have a diversification in your portfolio because it can turn around, and it probably will at some point.
Absolutely. Nobody likes paying insurance premiums when everything's going well.
No, but I think I wouldn't have done it differently. Even I mean, if I'm looking back, I would still have this in insurance, which are the bonds, the commodities, and things that have been performing less well. And they are like 10-15% of my portfolio. Obviously, so if I was 100% tech, then it would have been a better performance, but I don't want to be 100% tech anymore.
Sure. Next random question is number 9. Do you have any message you would like to send out to those copying you right now, maybe beyond what you do through posts and such?
I would just say that what I'm doing and what I think they should be doing is to first of all have patience. I think that's important, but also stick to something that seems to have a good momentum. This year, I'm staying in those stocks that have a great momentum. Some of the IT stocks because they're exposed to AI and a lot of other things that is relevant in this decade, I think. And just to stick with things that have momentum, things that are working well. Don't try to fix something that's not broken. That's what I would say.
Okay. 26. Well, this doesn't apply to you, but I'm going to ask it anyway, just to see what the answer is. Do you want to be a black star PI?
Well, I mean, yeah, if I wasn't a black star PI, I would want to be it. I would fight as hard as I could to get there, I think, because it's certainly a good position to be in, and it's a wonderful job to have. I mean, even if I wasn't a black star PI, it would be wonderful to be working with investing and communicating with copyiers and being part of a show like this. It's a great pleasure to be working with this, and I just love it. So I hope I'll stay a PI to expand on the question. I stay a black star PI, and that's what I'm hoping to do and fighting to do.
Very good. See, it was worthwhile asking that question, even though it didn't seem to apply.
I think so.
Incidentally, are you going to the next PI meetup?
Yes, I'm going to Dubai in November, where we have the next PI meetup. How about you?
I don't think I'll be going.
Okay.
I need a few more copiers.
Okay.
That.
I think you can go even with a few copiers. There was one guy last year who didn't have any copiers, but he went anyway, and now he has 7 copies.
Oh,
so.
Yeah. I mean, I could go, but to justify it in my mind, really.
Yeah. Okay.
The expense and so on.
Yeah.
Do you know much of what lies in store at that meetup?
No, because we just got the formal invitation 3 days ago, and I think we were asked to give our feedback on what we would like to happen and who to invite and so on. So I think there's maybe not so much planned yet. I don't know about any specific plans. What I'm hoping to experience is also to have some more experience from outside of the community, and not only the popular investors themselves, which is usually very inspiring to meet people, but also some people that are traders and investors from the outside world. And I think that's going to happen this year, and I look very much forward to meeting everyone again.
Have you been to Dubai before?
Yeah, I went to Dubai 1 year ago. It's a fantastic place. Like if you're from Scandinavia, like I am, and the weather is just, it's like in England, it's like raining a lot and cold and so on. Then Dubai the climate is wonderful. Of course, there are some things like the government and so on, and there's also a lot of rich people like flashing their richness, and depending on what you think about that, you may find yourself more or less comfortable there. I was there with my kids and my wife, and it was just a great vacation. So for vacation purposes, it's fantastic, I think.
Like, did you do any touristy things, like go out into the desert?
Not so much, because my kids are quite small. So we went into the water park, which is the world's largest water park, but it was located very close, or actually in the same hotel where we were, which is Atlantis, the Palm, which is a fantastic place. And there were so many things in this hotel that you didn't really need to go very far to experience a lot of things.
Very good. Talk us through one of your recent trades.
Recently, what I've been doing is I've been just, toggling a little bit on my positions up and down in the big tech companies. And it depends a little bit on what risk I see, if I had a little bit of more cash or if I had no cash. And these days I have very little cash. So it has mainly been toggling between buying a little bit more of the tech stocks or a little bit less. Recently I added, I think that was a few months ago, I added to my Nvidia position. And that is due to the impact that I think the AI will have on their, especially generative AI will have on their business. Nvidia is a very volatile stock, so it's one that I don't like to have too much of it because it's so volatile. But on the other hand, I think it's going to perform well over the next 3 to 5 years. So I want to have it in. So I bought a bit more of that. I also bought some more Meta. Recently, actually, I've been selling a little bit to keep a little bit of cash to find out what my next move should be, because I'm happy about the way that the portfolio has been performing this year. But I'm also thinking, like, if we got 16% for the first 5 months, then how did we get a little bit too much of the returns in the beginning of the year? So is it front loaded a little bit? And I think that's something that some people may worry about, though. So maybe I want to keep a little bit of cash to buy on lower levels as well. So I've been freeing up a little bit of cash, but right now it's only, I think, around 2 or 3%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a little over 2%.
Yeah.
This may be our final question.
Yeah.
What's your market outlook? Well, this touches on what you referred to there. What's your market outlook for the next 6 months?
So I think very short term, we have to get past the debt ceiling discussion, of course. And if we get past this in a positive way, that these issues are resolved within the next few weeks, then I think the market can go a bit further upwards. And so I'm keeping my exposure, which is like I'm 100% long. I also have some hedges like the bonds and commodities or so. But if you look at just like the technical analysis, the picture of like what is the sentiment in the market, it's still rather bullish, I would say. And so I'm not going to make the big change that I expect actually or some big changes that I could be doing later this year, when I expect the market sentiment to get worse. So my outlook would be that for the next few months, of course, based on the information that we have now, I see a positive trend for the first month. But I think later this year, it's very much possible that higher interest rates will start to kick in and affecting the economy in all kind of ways that maybe some of them could be foreseen and maybe some couldn't be foreseen. We have already seen a lot of banks struggle, so I'm keeping a very close eye on when this turn is going to happen. So for the very short term, I'm slightly bullish. I'm carefully bullish. And then for the rest of the year, I'm a bit more careful. I'm ready to make a change in my portfolio to perhaps buy some more bonds and have some hedges in place for a scenario which might bring us closer to a recession.
Well, that's very interesting. Well, you've certainly done quite nicely so far this year. It'll be interesting to see if that continues, even if circumstances change.
Yeah, I'm watching it very closely, and I hope I will be able to make the change if the market turns around, so I have a slightly more defensive position. But let's see what happens.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you very much for joining us at Copytraders Club for the check-in, Christian.
Thanks. It was nice being here, and I hope to come back another time. It's always enjoyable.
Well, you're always welcome. Cheerio.
Thank you. Thanks.
That's all from me. See you on Discord and Facebook. Until next time we meet at Copytraders Club, I wish you many happy returns. Obviously, anything you hear in this podcast is for entertainment only, not financial advice. Do your own research. This is just generic chit-chat. We don't know your individual circumstances, etc., and so forth.